Welcome to day 160 of TFIF 365. And the day is going to be a bit of a ramble because some themes are coming together, and I'm just going to talk a bit until I get tired, basically. But one of the themes that keeps showing up, particularly over the last few days, for me, is childhood trauma. um, um, Don't worry about the kids because they're resilient, and depression and mental illness in adulthood. And let me start this as the beginning. I am not a trained psychologist. I have just worked with a lot of people, and have dealt with a lot of shit. And one of the things that I'm finding on this supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free journey that I'm taking is, particularly with my commitment to self-healing, self-reflection, self-understanding, self-acceptance, self-love, and all of those things, is how much of my trauma, how much of my present day pain is rooted in the past. How much of today is being dictated by the past. How much of tomorrow will be dictated by the past if I don't do something today to kind of rectify that. And that's a huge ask, because the impetus for this is, although I've been talking about this for the past few days, I saw a person that I was really close to several years ago, discussing that they were depressed and they were on medication, and how the medication was making them feel better, but not feel better right away. They felt kind of neutral, like numb, like nothing, but that was better than depression. And that recently they've started feeling the pings, not a full out happiness or joy, but just the pings, just stepping outside of the neutrality, outside of the numbness a bit. And so they're starting to see a little joy and a little light at the end of the tunnel, even if for that moment. And it just brings me back to how much of the pain that people are in as adults, as they navigate the world and experience a world, or their lived experiences aren't what we were told it should be. If we did A, B, and C, you would have these results. And so much of that is about maintaining the status quo. I understand that. So much of that is about systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many. But even those individuals who benefit and can leverage their privilege are struggling with the same things. I see people from great wealth. I'll use Elon as an example. He is battling back and forth between the number one and number two of the wealthiest people and persons in the world. And yet, to watch him, how he behaves and how he treats people, it's like this dude with all that money still does not have peace. I have nowhere near his level of privilege, let alone his level of wealth. And I can find peace. I'm not at war with myself and the world as I used to be. And if you look at his documented, the parts of his childhood that I can say that can be vetted, and not the myth of the great man, but of how his parents and where he came from, all of that place, and you see it as an adult man who's just crying for attention. And when he can't get the attention that he seeks, he just flails out. I say the same thing for Trump. I say the same thing for so many privileged individuals, because one of the reasons why I shut down White Dude Rehab was I realized that although these privileged individuals do recognize that they are missing something, that their lives can be more fulfilled, more joyful, more at peace, their ability to do anything about it, to own their responsibility in the fact that they're able to leverage systems, institutions, and policies that privilege them at expense of the many, and what they can do to challenge that is so fearful for them that they don't do anything. It's like they're paralyzed. So that's why I shut it down. It's like you're having the intent or the desire to do something is different from having the intent to do something. It's also different than doing the something, than taking the actions. And so what I see is so much of the adults in our lives when we were younger may have had the desire for you to have a better life, but never had the intention or the wherewithal or the understanding of how to make that thing to do something about it. And so there are people who are adults now struggling with so much. And I guess the thing that I'm getting to as I'm talking this out is there's so much about the pain that adults find themselves in right now that should have been addressed in childhood had we been taught how to express our feelings in healthy ways. We're given the space to make mistakes without being shamed. We're told that we were of value without us having to produce, without us having to perform. And that's on all socioeconomic levels. That's on all racial and ethnic levels. Had we been guided into discovering ourselves as individuals and where we fit in the pantheon of humanity and community, and our responsibility to that humanity and community, would so many of us be depressed? Would so many of us need therapy? Would so many of us need the reliance of others to make us feel good, which always fails? Would we continue to seek shallowness and surface because we're too afraid to go deep? Yeah, so that's just something I was just processing. I'm just still processed out of there, but we're already at 7 minutes and I don't want to take it much longer than that. But yeah, I just really just thinking about how those who cared for us lacked an ability to help us navigate this world. And we continue to perpetuate that in future generations. So I don't know if this is a cautionary tale, if this is something that will make people feel at least a sense of hope. I hope it does, because if I didn't come to a realization early on when I was starting this path and was really, at the time I was definitely struggling, I'll use that word, struggling, with what I wanted and what I thought my capacity to bring about, and understand how much of my agency I'd given away, or how much was taken from me, and regaining that. Because even when I come here and I'm frustrated and I'm angry, I'm not depressed. I know that that's a moment, and I figure out ways, because I believe in my own self-worth, my own self-value, how to get me what I want. And so I guess it just saddens me to see so many people struggling, because I can't say they're challenged, because they're struggling with mental health issues related to having to navigate a world that is so vastly different from what we've been raised and taught to believe, and then trying to figure out how to navigate that, because what we've been sold was a lie. So until tomorrow, peace.